We must keep coming together for occasions like this. Let's don't think it's a waste of time, because it's not. Knowledge is being given. Knowledge is being shown. You know, and we have to keep sharing this knowledge with one another. It's important, people. It's not a waste of time. We need these type of things so we can open up our minds and be clear on what we're focused on, what our struggle is. So I'm asking you, and I'm telling you, support the Guardians. The Guardians is here for you. The Guardians respect you. The Guardians love you. And we'll respect you as long as you respect yourself. But if you don't respect yourself, you don't deserve respect. And that's what we got to look at. Respect. Not whether somebody likes me or not, because who cares whether they like you. Just have respect and dignity for yourself. And you remember that through your everyday life. Everything will be all right. All right.
All right. I'd like to welcome David Paterson, and I'd like to hear from him if he has anything to say. All right.
Thank you. Not only for letting me come and speak before you, but for having the spirit to have a Black Solidarity Day ceremony, taking times out of your schedules for missing work if they wouldn't give you work off. My favorite story about Black Solidarity Day is my first year in office. I had 2 white employees, and they came to me and they said, if you were going to close the office for Black Solidarity Day, you're not saying that we have to work, do you? Can't we take the day off? And I said, yeah, you can take the day off, take the day off. So I was at home. It was Monday before Election Day, it was Black Solidarity Day, and one of these white employees called me and said, well, I know you gave us the day off, but I didn't know you had the office open. So I went to my office and I realized that I told them they could have the day off, but I forgot to tell my African-American co-workers that we were having Black Solidarity Day and they came to work. So even on Black Solidarity Day, the white folks were home and black people were working. My office, this was all my fault. I couldn't blame the white man. I couldn't blame the institutional racism. I couldn't blame anyone except for myself. So I want you to know that we've come a long way today. That we have, everybody got the day off today. If you were working for me, you would have the day off. These 2 gentlemen are volunteers. They're here on their own time because they believe in Black Solidarity Day. Woody Pascal, my office manager, and Joseph Hassett, my executive assistant. I'm glad they would come along, because I wasn't going to bring any of my white employees down. So, Brother Kasun, Jenkins made some outstanding points. They don't need any amplification or repetition. It's just that the issue in many respects needs to be stated and restated. That we have a number of individuals who come to this country and pass right by us. And I'm sure you and the Guardians know very well that when they pass right by us, not only socially and economically, they pass right by us in cabs. This is the rite of passage. Whether you are Pakistani or from Bangladesh or from Saudi Arabia or wherever it is you're from, if you can come to New York and learn to pass black people in the middle of the street and deny people's rights to use a license that's sponsored by a city to discriminate against people, you can move right up the social ladder. And I think probably the most frustrating thing is that we had these kinds of conferences and we always talked about the colored peoples of the world. In other words, for purposes of our political movement, we've always included them.
Word.
But that's the last thing you better tell them when they come to New York, because these have been the most recent conflicts, the conflicts between Asian merchants and African-American employees, the difficulty between doctors who are immigrating from all over the country and the patients in predominantly African-American communities who they don't want to treat or don't give equal service. And then, of course, the problem with the taxi drivers. And the Guardians not only work with me, as correlative combatants in a struggle to try to improve the quality of life for our community, the Guardians helped me by going to the Taxi Limousine Commission because I finally caught one of these taxi drivers. I'm legally blind, and so when they throw me out to taxis, there's usually no recourse I have that would be acceptable for a state senator to get involved in against the taxi driver, other than to report the license number. And finally, my wife and I were taking a taxi who not only refused to drive us from 51st and Madison Avenue to where we live on 132nd and Malcolm X Boulevard, but then had the temerity to pick up a white passenger with me standing right there. I left the door open to make him come around and have to close his own door if he was going to kick me out the cab. This white woman thought I was holding the door open for her and he got in the cab and went somewhere on the Upper East Side. I can't believe it. And I told them as they were driving away, they will see me again. They will never forget that they did this. And I'm going to make sure with your help that they don't. And I think these are the issues. We had a press conference with some members of the Guardians and some African-American employees of Con Ed. The game that apparently they're playing at Con Ed is they always keep a relatively good number of African-Americans on the payroll. So if you were to investigate them by percentage, they have the right black people on the payroll, but they're always firing people and bringing in new people. So there's no promotion, no decision-making capacity to any of these jobs. And of course, all they're really doing is hiring people to mess up their employment records and then sending them away. This is the new racism. It takes no responsibility for racism and denies people any opportunity based on actual